Good evening. My name is Andrew Bernal, and it is an honor for me to be here today speaking to you all. Now, listen, life is going to sucker punch us. Life is going to fight dirty and hit us under the belt. It is going to throw us curveballs and keep us guessing. We never know what to expect. Everything may be fine one day, and then bam, life changes. We may be on top of the world one day, and then bam, we hit rock bottom. It is at this point that we are faced with choices in our lives. Our choices are to either bend, break, or thrive in the face of life adversity. One of my favorite movies of all time is Rocky Balboa, which has my favorite quote. It ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. We determine how we react to life adversity. I am here today to tell you about my journey and how we can overcome life adversity. To start off, I was a 13-year-old middle school student, and just like any typical 13-year-old, I loved being able to play outside and hang out with family and friends. However, one day everything changed. I was hit in the face by adversity, life adversity, and yet I didn't even know it. I remember waking up early on a Monday morning during spring break, and something just didn't feel right. I knew it right away. I just had that feeling. As I attempted to get out of bed, I noticed that the bed sheets felt heavy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Bed sheets aren't supposed to be heavy, right? Well, that's correct, yet I was struggling to get them off of me, and I promise it wasn't because I didn't have muscles or anything. I don't know, it was just hard to get off of me. But once I finally managed to get out of bed, my feet felt like I had cinder blocks on them, and the rest of my body felt extremely weak and frail. Now, I didn't think too much of it because I had just played a baseball tournament, the weekend prior, so maybe I was just sore. That's what I had convinced myself. However, as the morning went on, things started to get worse. During breakfast, I was unable to pick up my glass of apple juice or pick up my fork to eat my Eggos. Something was very wrong, but I didn't know what it was. I couldn't pinpoint it. My younger brother began to worry, but I reassured him with a laugh that I was okay and there was nothing to worry about. I played it off like I was just messing with him, like big brother's fine. Well, the longer the day went on, the weaker I got until finally I could barely walk. At this point, I was thinking, what the heck is wrong with me? I really need to get it together. Like, come on, Drew, snap out of it. I just kept getting worse until I needed assistance by my brother and mom just to get off of the couch. And it was at this point that my mom had seen enough and decided to take me down to the Texas Children's Hospital in downtown Houston. Upon arrival, I was in worse shape. I needed a wheelchair just to reach the ER room and I could barely move my arms. Still, to this day, I remember being wheeled into that cold ER room, not knowing if I would ever make it out the same again. As the day went on, I was still and sitting in that cold ER room, slowly getting worse, not knowing what was going on, and I was so confused. The hospital performed many diverse tests on me, such as an MRI, X-ray, and a spinal tap. Now, that spinal tap was supposed to be extremely painful. I remember the hospital bringing in this large man who had to have been close to probably about 300 pounds. He was a big boy. And they brought him in so he could hold me down as they stuck that long needle down my back, all the way down to my spine. But I was so weak at this point that I didn't even flinch. I felt the pain, but was too tired to scream, too tired to express my feelings and emotions. Now, after about 10 hours of being in the ER, we were greeted by a team of doctors. And usually, when you see a team of doctors, it's usually not a good thing because the level of concern is pretty high and significant. Well, it was at this point when I was officially diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is also known as GBS, which is a rare disorder in which your body's immune system attacks your central nervous system. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention states that 3,000 to 6,000 people develop GBS each year in the United States. Now, to put this into perspective, Out of 100,000 people, two will be diagnosed with GBS, giving you a 0.002% chance of getting it, which is very, very rare. But after being diagnosed, I was sent to the hospital room upstairs to begin treatment immediately. The first treatment the doctors tried was unsuccessful, and my condition reached an all-time low. I was at rock bottom. I lost the ability to move, and I was paralyzed. I didn't even have the strength to squeeze my parents' hands for comfort. I felt like I was left alone in the darkness with no one to turn to but myself and my thoughts. I was hit with life adversity. I didn't know how to deal with it. To be completely honest with you, I felt sorry for myself. I felt scared. I felt confused. I thought to myself, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? It was at this point in my life when my favorite quote began to echo through my brain again. It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. I was given the choice at that moment, that very specific moment, to either bend, break, or thrive in this unfortunate situation. I made the mental decision to thrive in the face of life adversity. I changed my entire outlook on my situation and became extremely positive. I was not going to let this disease defeat me. I was not going to let this disease define me. I told myself constantly that this is not the end. This is the beginning of a long road to recovery ahead of me. And I promised myself that I would never have negative thoughts in the future. I was always going to stay positive no matter what in my life. Now, I remember a funny story when a priest came into my hospital room wanting to pray with my mom and I when I was at an all-time low, rock bottom, couldn't move, paralyzed. During the prayer, my mom started to cry, and I looked over at her in confusion and I said, Mama, why are you crying? You are perfectly fine. I'm the one that should be crying because I'm the one who can't move. I'm freaking paralyzed. Now she began to laugh after I said this, and I could see her eyes light up because she and I both knew that I was going to turn this time of my life into a positive rather than a negative. After countless blood transfusions, I slowly began to regain my strength, and I was still extremely weak, but I was finally able to move my hands again, and I used to always give a thumbs up, letting people know that I was okay and in good spirits, and that's what I do still to this day. I'm always giving people that thumbs up, no matter what. Even though, they say Giga Maggies, well, nah, I don't really think about all that. Thumbs up means that I'm good to go. And I remember how determined I was to be able to stand up by myself for the first time. It took every ounce of me, but I finally did it, and it was a huge moral victory for me. Although I was making progress, I still had grueling physical therapy sessions twice a day. I was a 13-year-old newborn baby, pretty much. I had to learn to crawl and walk all over again, like I was reliving my life again. I remember falling on my face crawling, falling down as I was walking or trying to walk. And I was constantly getting beat up by life adversity. But slowly, I started punching back. I started making significant progress, and after months of being in the hospital, I was finally able to be self-sufficient again and somewhat take care of myself. I would not have been able to make it out of rock bottom if it were not for me battling through life adversity. I learned that we are not defined by our circumstances. We are defined by how we react and deal with hardships. GBS still affects me to this day. The doctors told me that I would never have the same stamina again and that I would become fatigued easily. Although I hate to admit it, but they were right, and it's been true. After walking a lot or being active, my right knee will buckle, and when it does, I instantly remember my 13-year-old self battling life adversity. This is a constant reminder that with the right attitude and mindset, we can defeat life adversity and overcome anything. If I, as a 13-year-old child, can defeat GBS and battle life adversity, then we all can. No matter the age or situation, we all have the heart of a lion inside of us. We just need to let it roar. GBS does not define who I am as an individual. It has taught me valuable life lessons, such as what it takes to fight through life adversity and not be defeated. Now, listen, life is going to challenge us. It is what it is, plain and simple. We can't do anything to change it. We are going to face life adversity some point in our lives if you haven't already, but it's bound to happen. It's in our future. It is going to make us feel worthless and like there's not a solution. We can't let life adversity beat us up. We need to start throwing punches back. We can do it. As long as we never give up, always maintain positive, always climb your way out of rock bottom, step by step, and always remember this quote. It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. We must remember these words every time we face life adversity. And we need to ask ourselves a simple question. Are we going to accept defeat when life gets tough? Or are we going to fight life adversity? The choice is ours to bend, break, or thrive. Thank you for having me today.